What's up, people of the planet Earth? My name's Allison. This is Pharaoh. I've been up since 3 in the morning. It's now 9:30, and I have a lot to say to you today. So up until this point in time, I wouldn't say that this video is my average content that I create and share on YouTube, because I like to focus on myself and you and us being resilient, not on people who raised us and perhaps modeled some bad behaviors, treated us poorly. I like to take radical responsibility in my life, but I am kind of pissed, kind of fired up today, and just in general right now in my life, not avoiding narcissism, the realities of narcissism, and also just taking so much responsibility and owning my weaknesses and things that I need to heal from. And so, yeah, I'm going to talk about a really crappy trait of narcissism. And a reason why is I have been, over the past year, confronted by many narcissists or people recovering from CPTSD with the fight type of CPTSD. So there's 4 basic different types of CPTSD, of how it shows up in different people. Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. I'm going to be talking more about this very soon. Stay tuned. Subscribe. But before I do, the fight type is modeled off of narcissism, but it's not the same thing. And today I'm going to be talking about something that both narcissists and CPTSD recoveries struggle with and do that is just the worst. And then I'm going to share 5 ways that we can live instead, and at the end of the video, 3 of my values that I live by and I encourage you to live by, that I don't think narcissists live by. Nope, I know they don't live by. So without further ado, the quality that I deem the worst in narcissistic individuals, that sucks the greatest joys out of life and contributes to so much unnecessary pain, is allocating their resources, the most precious resources that we are given, time and energy, into focusing on the negative, focusing on other people's and life's flaws, weaknesses, and in general, what is lacking. So I deem this the worst ever, because it literally is the opposite of happiness, which we all just want to feel at peace, supported, safe, joyful. And that's just going in the opposite direction of that. That way is joy, focusing on what's there, being in awe of what's around us, and appreciating what we do have, and noticing what's good in people, seeing them as just innocent creatures that were born here on the planet, who have rights and things that they like and dislike, and they're just like a bundle of coolness that I can appreciate. That's all that direction. Narcissists focus on that direction, like see exactly the same thing that everyone else sees, only finds the negative interpretation of it. People's words, people's actions, life events, rather than just being what they are and seeing what is happening for what it is, unassumingly, mindfully. They see it in the worst manner, the worst light possible. And that's being grandiose, the worst possible. Maybe not that, but they see it in a bad way. And the thing is, everyone is entitled to their own perception of reality, and hopefully they choose a perception of reality that suits them, and works for them. I personally think that this perception of reality works against them. But again, they're free to live and be how they are, how they choose. It becomes a problem, in my opinion, when this is directed at another human being. When, perhaps, for instance, my fiercely loving hearts and actions that aren't perfect, true, are just exploited by their perceptions and condemned. Condemned as just terrible. And this video isn't me just being mad. I really see this as someone who's struggling. But when I was little, when you were little, when we didn't know any better, and people did this to us, it's really, really scarring. It's so painful and confusing and debilitating in so many ways. When someone takes anything that you say or do that has absolutely no intention at all. Like maybe you're just saying something that came to your mind, like just having a natural response to whatever is going on in the world, and someone twists it, puts words in your mouth that weren't even there, puts an intention in your heart that wasn't there, isn't there, and puts like hate and characteristics in you actually don't have. And models doing this to everyone else around you, models doing this to everything, every circumstance. And I'm using grand words today for some reason. I'm being very grandiose. Everyone, everything. It doesn't have to be everything and everyone and every moment of every day. But if it's pervasive, that can be really debilitating to a person's mindset, their self-confidence, their abilities, their aspirations, their relationships, their health, their finances, their security in life. Everything, every aspect of life really can be negatively impacted by this quality, by choosing to focus on what's negative. Something that has stuck with me for years was seeing 1,000 times 1 equals 1,000. Wow, enlightening. Just kidding. Hold up. But 1,000 times -1 is -1,000. I think that's so accurate. One little piece of negativity can really change everything in a way that it really doesn't have to be. And so this can be debilitating, and it can also be an example and a way of life that we adopt. People raised by people who do this also learn to do this. And maybe not right away, but I think that this is the case after one is enlightened as to what narcissism is and to the narcissists in their life. And then they actually, with this awareness, start seeing that quality everywhere and unknowingly do that themselves by seeing this negative thing everywhere and seeing what's bad and could be improved in everybody. And Pete Walker, and other people I'm sure, but Pete Walker, he wrote CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving. He says that this is all a way to protect themselves by seeing the fault in others rather than the fault in themselves. Other people need to change and improve. They don't. Other people are the reason for any dysfunction, not them. They don't take responsibility. Instead, they find and blame outside, external things. It's a way to keep yourself safe, sure. But I do want to say a difference that I have noted between narcissists and CPTSD fight types is narcissists do this. They find fault in others, often in a way that exploits others to their gain. So for example, saying that another person has done all these things and owes them because they're a bad person, and therefore they are entitled to exploit them, use them. However, CPTSD fight types, I think, do this to their detriment. They're seeing everything as negative. They're feeling negative themselves. The only thing that they gain from doing this is having an easy out from taking responsibility of creating the life that they want. And that means change. And changing the way that you perceive the world is a pretty hard thing to do. But it's possible. And honestly, maybe this mindset is why we think that change is going to be so hard. Maybe seeing what's good is actually the easy thing. And what if we adopt this mindset and think of it that way? Like, think of change not only being easy, but it'll make us feel so good, so much better than we're feeling now, and we want to feel good. So that's a really exciting, awesome thing. And what if we have fun with it? And what if we see it as just an adventure? And if it doesn't work, that's okay. We can try again the next day. It sounds like a better way of life to me. It does. But anyways, concluding pretty much this part of the conversation and moving on. The worst quality in narcissists and CPTSD type, in my humble opinion, is choosing to focus on the negative. The flaws, the weaknesses, the lack. And channeling that, especially at other people. I'm back. I just went downstairs to get some water and... Lucy is so cute downstairs. I'm gonna have to take the camera and show you because, wow, it is next level adorableness. So, I do want to say that this is a natural, instinctual response to fear and any threat to security. So the four F types that are responses to CPTSD are fight, flight, freeze, and fawn, and they are all natural ways that humans have evolved to have order in their social circles if there is some level of threat. Everyone does each F response if they're healthy at one point in time or another, but when you live in that response, in that instinctual response, and it becomes a way of life, it's just no bueno. You know what I'm saying? So if this shows up in your life anywhere, do not be alarmed. We can transform, okay, and be resilient. We are very adaptable and growth-oriented creatures. But moving into the next part of this conversation, I do advise sidestepping this particular instinctual response and instead taking radical responsibility for ourselves, our feelings, our needs, and our relationships. So, how do we do that? Well, 5 ways I could think of this morning are: 1. Seek out evidence that the world is good. It's a safe place. People have positive intentions, strengths, and childlike fun and playful qualities about them. Definitely look out for yourself and keep your intuition, your instinctual alarm bells on. But in general, practice seeing the good. Seeing the good in yourself, in other people, and in life. We get one life, as far as we know, and we have a choice to enjoy it or to focus on the bad. Practice enjoying it. Strengthen that muscle. The second point is to give grace to yourself and others for imperfections. No one is perfect. No one can read your mind. No one knows everything. And in fact, most people are very flawed. but that's okay. It's totally okay. The third is practice unassuming mindfulness. Practice curiosity, wonder, and awe. That means not assuming anything in others. And if we do assume it all, assume the best. Assume that if they call off sick at work, they really are sick. And cultivate care for them. Hope that they're feeling better. For some people, this is natural, and that's great. But some of us were tainted as children, just modeled poor behavior and assuming the absolute worst in people. Again, with the grandiosity, I'm sorry. The fourth point is practice active listening. So when someone is speaking to us, not only be unassumingly mindful, seek to understand deeply before we even speak our side, our opinion, to be understood. Seek to understand before being understood. Actively listen, and also added on to this point, practice emotional intelligence and emotional literacy. In yourself, how are you feeling and why? What's the need underneath that feeling that's being met or not being met? And emotional literacy, why is that the case? And what can you do to feel okay? What need can you meet to feel good, or to continue to meet to continue feeling good? And then practice that in others. What are other people feeling? Through their words, what are they expressing? What is valuable to them? Why do they bring this up? What are they feeling? Why? And what's the whole context surrounding this situation, this conversation? Actively listening to others in an unassumingly mindful way. This is like the complete opposite of twisting people's words and throwing our own words and interpretations into what they're saying. This is like, what are they saying? Why? What does it show about who they are? Not what it means about what they think about me. It's just good stuff. And number 5, the last point, is practice connection and compassion. We are exquisite, feeling, light, divine creatures, all on earth experiencing the joys and pains of life together. When you're focusing on the bad in another person, it takes away the beauty that could be there. And when you're just focused on yourself, when we're focused on our phones and just like walk by the cat that's meowing at us, it is missing an opportunity to connect, to be present, to be compassionate about what other people are feeling and needing, and connecting on just a really deep and lovely way. On a lovely way. You guys know what I mean. So, to sum those up for you. Number 1, seek out evidence that the world is a good, safe place. People have positive intentions, they have strengths, and they have childlike, fun, and playful qualities about them. Number 2, give grace to yourself and others for imperfections. Number 3, practice unassuming mindfulness, curiosity, wonder, and awe. Number 4, practice active listening, emotional intelligence, and emotional literacy. And number 5, practice connection and compassion. We are all on earth experiencing the joys and pains of life together. Let's share joy together as much as we can. And now I want to share the 3 values that I really do strive to express to you through all of my videos. And if I have not done so yet, I do want to strive to express those in videos to come, as far as I know at this point in time in 2021. And those values are radical acceptance of our personal truth. Our personal truth is what brings us joy and what brings us pain. Being honest about that and acting and honoring those truths accordingly is what I wanted to say there. So for instance, if someone in your life, regardless of what relation they are to you, if they're your parent, if they're your sibling, if they are a big source of pain in your life, radically accept that and honor that. If it brings you a lot of pain to be no contact, even if this person is a source of pain for you. If it's more true for you that we're all going to pass away one day and you really want to experience the full spectrum of what a human relationship can be like, this family relationship, this very unique relationship in your life, that is your personal truth, and radical acceptance is a value that I want to express to you. And that looks different for everyone. And that's another part of the puzzle, is realizing that what works best for me isn't necessarily what's going to work best for you. And not everyone is going to be radically accepting of what's best for you. But you can be radically accepting of what's best for you. The second value that I'm going to try to express from here on out is radical responsibility for our lives. Instead of being the victim, being reactive, and fit in a box of what everyone else is doing and how it enables you, inspires you, or oppresses you. Take radical responsibility to create what you desire based off of radical acceptance of what your truth is in life, what you honestly feel, what you need, and what you want. And the third value that I want to get across to you is radical compassion for yourself and for others. And that can be hard, especially regarding the conversation today. If someone has always pointed out your flaws and you learned to always zero in on and focus on your flaws, and other people were always pointing out the flaws in the world, the weaknesses, the lack, and you learn to do that too. It can be hard to practice radical compassion. But the truth is, we all are really doing the best that we can. And sometimes I have a philosophical debate with myself on that point, like, are they really doing the best that they can? Are they? Is everyone? But I've come to accept that, yes, it's truth. And even if it's not, radical compassion is the way to go. I think connection is just what is the best, greatest joy that we can experience in life. It's what really matters more than anything. Having compassion opens your heart to allow for that connection. So even if it's not true that people are doing the absolute best with everything that they have or don't have, compassion allows you what you want, allows you to have and experience the joy of connecting. Not even with people who maybe treat you wrong, but like with people who you really love, and with yourself. That compassion is the way there. So that is going to wrap up this video. Do you want to see Lucy? So a lot of my videos won't be talking about this at length because this is what I choose to focus on in my day. But I hope that this video was valuable to you in some way. I hope that you're still feeling alright, even though I was kind of fired up. And I hope that you guys do have a good day and can focus on what's good and are inspired too, after me venting about people who focus on the bad. You deserve it. So, we'll talk to you guys soon.